play called by Tom Izzo in that timeout.
I was 7 years old watching a football game by myself, and I saw those winged helmets come out of the tunnel, and I was hooked at that point.
Kane in Chicago! Oh my God! Kane with the overtime winner!
Jameer Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
He drives, lobs to JD for a jam.
You play real good, you start. You don't play as good, you work your way back in. It's the American way, except America has gotten soft. But that is the American way. That's the way it works.
This is the 6-6 Kane Cunningham! Jameson Williams, he's got it! Touchdown, Lions!
Without getting too caught up in a moment, we do notice, I hope, that when the Tigers are winning and winning series, people feel like they're back. Like, seriously, fans feel like, okay, this is a team that can win the division. They can reach the postseason. The American League is so bad, it doesn't really matter. And then when they lose or lose regularly or consistently or lose a series or struggle to score runs, and this is a team that's 4 up and 34 down when scoring 3 runs or fewer. 4 and 34 with 3 runs or fewer. I don't know if you got that statistic, but that's fact right there. When they lose, everyone's like, okay, when do we start unloading our players? I've said this is why Andy and I talked about this earlier in the week, I believe. We said, look, at what stage or at what point do you think this team you'll start to get on board with again? When do you look at the Tigers and say, okay, now I do believe? And for me, it was 5 games within 500. Andy was a little more optimistic. One of the many things you love about him. He tries to keep a smile on his face.
I don't know. Maybe
good
sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah, no, good for you. This team, after the loss last night, good game, good pitcher's duel. I don't need 10 runs in a game to be entertained. I don't need a lot of things to be entertained. I want to watch a good baseball game, and I thought for the most part, it was a pretty good baseball game. It was interesting while I'm sitting there watching, and I'm watching this Tatsu Yaima deal regularly against the Tigers, and I'm like, why can't they hit this dude? Well, he's got great movement on all his pitches. At least he did last night. And I thought to myself, when a Tigers pitcher does that, he's awesome. Great stuff, right? When an opposing pitcher does this to the Tigers lineup, I think, why can't they hit? I never keep the same rules for both. Houston wins it 2-1, but the story of the night was Yaima. Outstanding. 6 innings, allowing just 2 hits, striking out 10. Houston got a solo homer from Bubba Trammell and a sac fly from Isaac Paredes to hand Troy Melton the loss. Melton gave up the 2 runs. He gave up the solo bomb down the right field line. 12 of the 14 homers he's allowed have been solo bombs. Here's how good Troy Melton has been. Even in a loss, I know you want wins. I look at what he's been able to do. What he's been able to do in terms of how long is this dude going? How many hard hit balls are there? Does he get ahead in counts? All the different things that, you would hope you would take into account. And last night, Troy Melton was good enough to get a win. Didn't. Lasted 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 6, didn't walk anybody.
I mean, you're taking that every day. I mean, I don't know how you're not.
Andy, every day. I mean, if you think your pitcher's got to be perfect, then you're going to be in for a long season.
Right.
Okay. This is not an individual sport.
It's again why I think we just talked about it yesterday. You don't want to put too much stock in the wins and losses category. That's for sure.
Right. Not for starters. not for starters. It's the same thing with relievers sometimes with their ERA. A reliever can come in, have one bad game in the first half of a season, and his ERA blows up, and it's really hard to whittle it down. Remember Paul Skeens earlier this year, Andy?
Yeah, first game.
Okay. Yeah, first game. Where's his ERA now? I'm not saying I don't know how long it took for him to feel comfortable again and feel like, okay, this is a guy who's, he's everything you thought he would be and then some. Paul Skeens, everybody would take Paul Skeens on their team, right?
I mean,
his ERA is down to 2.86. There was, like you said, there was a time in that first game, his ERA was double digits. In fact, it was against the Mets. It was 67.5. But he can get his ERA down because he pitches a lot of innings. Bullpen guys don't. That's what makes it difficult for them. But anyway, I digress. Melton this year. So the 6 innings and 1 earned run. Previous start, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Start before that, 5 innings, 4 earned runs, not good. Start before that, 8 innings, 2 earned runs. 7 innings, 1 earned run, 5 2/3, 1 earned run. We're talking a lot of quality starts in there. There's 2 that aren't. And 1 you were 1 out away. Had you only given up 1 earned run. So pretty damn good. He's got a 0.85 whip. That is second among American League starters who have thrown at least 30 innings. Not bad. I am not worried about Troy Melton at all. Not worried about Dylan Dingler either. His 1-out solo homer in the 9th, number 19 on the year, was accounted for the lone run. But the Tigers are 13 games under 500.
That is something to be concerned about.
And that's what we get to. The positive people, the Andy McDonalds of the world, are going to say, you know what? They're 5 games back in the wild card.
You're giving me too much credit for this positivity of this team right now.
That's what they're going to say. Shep, they're only 5 games back in the wild card. Okay. And then if I asked you, are they better than Tampa? Tampa just beat Kansas City last night, like 13-2. Not that Kansas City's great, but they're a half game back of Detroit. Anyway, no. Are they better than Cleveland? Probably not. Houston has proven they're better. How about Toronto? Well, you beat Toronto pretty handily earlier this year. How about Texas? How about the A's? How about the Orioles? How about the Twins? My point is, all those teams are ahead of your team.
Yeah, and I want to ask people
in the wild card. In the wild card.
If you've been paying attention to the wild card standings, like how much of the Tigers, whether they've won or they've lost, even like moved around. They've been at around 5 games for, it feels like forever.
You're right.
now. So that's kind of the point there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They've also been double digit under 500 seemingly forever. Remember when everybody was using the injuries as an excuse, what did you and I say to people? Remember, I mean, this team was 500 even before the injuries. It's not like this team jumped out to a 12-2 start. The injuries hit and they carry them, and then they fell down. It wasn't anything like that. This team has really, all season long, they have not, and we're deep, folks. We don't have to, you can't use the excuse any longer. I'm sorry. When you're 81 games deep, okay, and further along, you're well past the midway point, you're not using that as an excuse. This is who you are right now, unless changes are made. I know you thought I'd start with the soccer, but I didn't get there, but I will. And the Terrion Arnold. Mike Payton from A to Z Sports is going to join us at 8:35. Looking forward to that. Here on X's and Bros on a Friday morning, brought to you by Mitch Lanswell.
Ferris Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Ferris Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marx. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marx, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sportsnet. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sportsnet Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Huge here for the incredible Crystal Mountain Resort in Thompsonville, Michigan. If you've never experienced the mountain, it's unbelievable. They offer up 36 holes of championship golf, Betsy Valley, Mountain Ridge, accommodations, a ton of choices. Go to crystalmountain.com, see everything for yourself. One of the top spas in America. They can handle businesses, small groups, big groups, your buddies, the ladies, and more. Book your getaway now at crystalmountain.com. That's crystalmountain.com.
18 after the hour. So much to get to. Fun discussions in between. By the way, welcome to X's and BrO's, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. I know. The huge show a little bit later on today from 3 until 7. Billy will have some huge opinions on a lot of things that we're talking about. We want your opinion. You can stream us live on X, on Facebook, and on YouTube. You can text us, Sports Radio 21,000. And you can also call us on the Meyer hotline. That Meyer hotline is 866.
They're fun. That's a fun discussion between the break, but it's also a concerning discussion, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. The thing about this is I got to do a couple things at the same time because I want to retweet out, our handle and everything else like this is because Andy puts this right on the stream and sometimes I'm a little late getting there. And then there's this, that, and the other thing. There's so many things to discuss. Let me do a few things here because I don't want to rush through it. We mentioned Dylan Dingler. So let me do this first. There's 2 players in baseball right now with 19 homers or more, 55 RBIs or more, and with a slug of 540 or more. Do you know who they are? 2 players.
I don't think so. I don't think I know.
Okay, one is Dylan Dingler. The other one was in the game last night as well, Yordan Alvarez.
Oh, okay.
That's a little misleading because Kyle Schwarber leads everybody in homers, has 52 RBIs, slugs the hell out of the ball, but he's been injured. But anyway, Dingler's got 19 bombs. He's got 57 runs driven in. He's got a 543 slug.
He's probably still number 3 in the All-Star voting for catcher.
He is.
Somehow.
I mean, they're down to the final 2. This is, with all due respect to fans who love their players, the popularity contest of an all-star performance or an all-star selection is mind-numbing sometimes to me. You're leaving this up to people who just want their team and their players in an all-star game. Dylan Dingler's going to make it. I'm not worried about that. Okay. He's not going to make it on the fans voting, but he should be a starting all-star. And it shouldn't be really close. His performance this year has been the best word you can put is consistent. That's the ultimate compliment for any athlete. You were consistent. Now, if you're saying he's consistently bad, then that's a problem. So maybe it needs to be 2 words. Consistently good. All right. For him to be not in the top 2 is borderline malpractice. Kevin McGonigal, who I think is an all-star as well, it's not as glaring to me. Riley Green, probably not quite as glaring to me. Dylan Dingler has been a dominating player.
It doesn't make any sense that he wouldn't make the game. If you're talking about the best players in the game, like
it does make sense if you follow the history of what
happens. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It does make sense because people don't vote with knowledge. Sorry. I mean, but this is what you are left up to. It's really a very, it's really not the ideal way to do it, but how else are you going to do it? If you put players in charge, and look, they take a little bit of everything into account. So good for them. Managers are going to vote for their guy. Players are going to vote for their buddies, and fans are going to vote for their favorite players. You're going to leave it up to the media? I wouldn't. I mean, a lot of those members of the media can't get things right, like Hall of Fame. So there's no perfect solution. It's just unfortunate that as a fan of the game of baseball, that you can't look objectively at something and tell us who the best player is. That's a problem. But there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. Okay. If you're going to worry about that, then you're going to have issues forever. This is just the way it is. I mean, if you look at it last year, okay, there were guys who deserved to make it, and they didn't make it. William Contreras deserved to make it. Nick Kurtz probably deserved to make it, right? Bryce Terang. How many people are looking at Bryce Terang? Probably not many. He's a platinum gold glove winner year before. So, and it's not always the least named guys. I mean, Trey Turner was deserving. So you're going to have some issues like that. I understand. It's frustrating for me, but I wanted to give you that. Here's the other thing. Evan Woodbury put this out last night. Evan Woodbury of M Live. Here's the Tigers at the midway point of the season. Remember, I told you 81 games. Detroit is 34 up, 47 down. 81 games. They've played half the regular season. You don't want to be convinced by 40 games because you think that's old school. That's fine. You don't believe 50 games. That's fine. When I tell you you're at the midway point and you're 13 games under 500, do you believe me now? I don't know. But here's what they have been. 2019, they were 27 and 54, Andy. The next year, and I lived through this, they were 36 and 45. The following year, they were 34 and 47. That's 2022. Sorry, 2020, there was no midway point. He only played 60 games. Brilliant. Really smart by baseball. In 2023, they were 35 and 46. In 2024, they were 7 games under 500. Last year, they were 50 and 31. And this year, obviously, you know, they're 34 and 47. We'll complain about how bad certain other teams are. We'll laugh at how bad certain other teams are. If I give you these teams, and you follow baseball closely, you ready? Kansas City, Boston, who's already fired their manager. They've had upheaval there. The New York Mets, they're a laughing stock. People are putting pictures out on social media of the infield for the New York Mets is now what? Larry, Moe, and Curly, the Three Stooges. So the Mets. San Francisco, who's trying to unload seemingly everybody on their roster. Matt Chapman's up. Rafael Devers is up. You want him, you got him. Right? The LA Angels. Why can't they win? Poor Mike Trout, right? All those teams are, to a certain extent, laughed at. All those teams are as bad, I was going to say as good, but you can't do that, are as bad standings-wise as the Tigers. I wonder how many people in Boston, and like I said right around, Boston is what would be 1 game back of Detroit. Okay? I mean, Kansas City, for as bad as they've been, and they're a minus 49 in run scoring, are only a half game back of Detroit. The Angels, for as bad as we think they are, they have the same number of wins as the Tigers.
Yeah, I was at a going away thing last night for a coworker over at Wood, and one of my coworkers' boyfriends, they're from California, so he's an Angels fan, and he's just like, "Oh no, you don't want to watch baseball with me. You know, trying to be an Angels fan is just horrible." And I'm just like, I'm pretty sure we have the same record right now, but the optimism in our state for some reason is completely different. I'm
pretty sure we have the same record right now. You're 100% right. Like
it's crazy. Like his attitude
crap.
and he says all their like they never think they have a chance, no matter what, is what it feels like. And yet here you're 13 games under and everybody believes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're right. Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? I don't know the answer to that. Okay, after turning himself in Wednesday night, Lions corner Terrion Arnold made his first appearance in court Thursday on kidnapping and robbery charges. He's being held with no bond until his pretrial detention hearing, which is Monday morning at 9:30, by the way. Prosecutors are going to argue to keep him behind bars without bond until trial. It's amazing to me how quickly people have just taken one side or the other. He's associated with this. Is that fair to say? I mean, do you truly believe that he's associated with it? I do.
Yeah, he's got to be.
Now, is he the mastermind? Did he do all these things? Probably not. When they're FaceTiming you, that's a problem. Don't tell me you don't have anything to do with it. Free 6. We'll get to that. Mike Payton's going to join us from A to Z Sports at 8:35 here on X's and Bros. We're brought to you by Mitch Lyons-Well.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana. The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Showtime 8 p.m. See the Lumineers live with Josiah and the Bonnevilles, July 19th at Soaring Eagle Casino.
The stock market goes up and then it goes down. It's fine while you're saving for retirement, but as you get closer to retirement, it can cause stress. Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. In my NFL days, the season could be a real roller coaster and a lot of fun, but roller coasters in retirement aren't as much fun. Do world events have you wondering if your retirement is safe? Will your money last even if the stock market were to take a dive? Have you had your retirement account stress tested to see what kind of risk you're actually taking? Let's not leave your retirement to chance. Hope is not a plan. Contact the pros at Mitch Lyons Wealth today and put us to work for you. Let's ensure your plan works even if the stock market doesn't. Text PLAN, P-L-A-N, to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. Investment advisory services are offered through MLW Advisory Services, LLC, DBA Mitch Lyons Wealth, a registered investment advisor.
want an embarrassing moment for baseball? I don't know if you saw this, but yesterday, Pete Crow Armstrong stole second base. He was running on a pitch, on a 3-2 pitch. It was ball 4. They called him out at second. Oops. That's
oh my goodness, that's terrible. Yeah. I did not see that yet.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Yeah. It's embarrassing for the league is what I'm saying. You understand that, right? I mean,
I understand what you're saying. That's crazy that they did that.
It's absolutely stupid. So the Terrion Arnold news continues to be probably the most talked about situation for the NFL, unfortunately. We've said this about the National Football League for a long time. Actually, let me get through the headlines. Pistons have signed undrafted free agent Roddy White from Michigan. NHL draft is tonight in Buffalo. Red Wings have 7 picks overall. They have traded Amadeus Lombardi. Classic name, right? Amadeus. Should do the whole update in that tone.
I told him a couple of times that should have been his goal song. So
yeah, absolutely.
He never he didn't want to do it. I don't understand.
Okay, I don't blame him. But anyway, classic name. He's gone to New Jersey for a 4th round pick. Andy and I were talking about this in the break. Is he better than a 4th round pick? He sure seems like it at the minor league level, at the AHL level.
Yeah, I mean
But here's my question to people. I don't think many people have any confidence in Steve Yzerman. Outside of Chris Ilitch, who maybe just doesn't, because he views him as close to a brother as he can possibly have. I don't know many people who believe this dude he's got the plan and it's in line with everything we had hoped it would be.
No, I don't think. I think it's pretty factual.
So here's what I would ask you. And Amadeus Lombardi never got a chance, despite some good offensive numbers, never got a chance to showcase his skill set in the NHL. Is that because he wasn't good enough or because there were wrong decisions made in the front office?
I would go with the latter half of that, I feel like, man, because
don't you think most people would believe the latter?
Yeah, just because I think, I mean, I'm not, again, what you're saying is very true. Okay. AHL competition, much different than the NHL. The problem is we don't know. And when I saw down here, like when he was out of the game, it affected their team heavily. Like they weren't the same offensive team on the ice anytime that he was hurt. And when he wasn't, it was a huge difference. They relied on him to get to the blue line so many times, which is something the Red Wings struggle at, by the way. They're not, I mean, they're dump and chase a lot of the time, which is the problem with them on offense.
And not quick enough to get to the dump.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's the issue. And like again, AHL level, I understand, but I just would have liked to see him get a chance in the 4th line at some point in Detroit, because I feel like he could have been good at that part of it, at least give them something, because his hands were really good, man. Whether he's in the AHL or NHL, I feel like he could at least skater on some people. That's for sure.
And he's a center. Okay.
Exactly. He's small, but
please don't think that I'm trying to propose this guy deserves to be on this team. I'm just asking the question. All right. I'm asking the question about, and you're right. Is he small? He's 5'11", 182. He's average.
Sure.
Okay. There aren't many 6'2" centers out there. Anyway, he was almost a point a game guy. Played 47 games, had 42 points. All right. 16 goals. It doesn't jump off the page at you. It doesn't make you go, oh my God, how are you holding this guy back?
No, but he was hurt.
John Leonard had 33 goals.
He's hurt, but the impressive part to me is every time he came back from an injury, it's like he never took a break or a step off. Like he came back and was the same player every time right away, which is pretty hard to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like I said, he didn't play all the games. He played 47 games. If you're going to stroke Michael Brandsegg-Nygaard, who played 60 games and had 44 points, and he deserves a shot, then how come this kid didn't deserve a shot? They look at things other than numbers. That's why.
For sure.
Yeah. He maybe he's too slow. Maybe he doesn't have a high hockey IQ. There's a lot of reasons for why guys don't get called up, okay? And I respect that, because Steve Yzerman and his staff have forgotten more hockey than I'll ever know. But it does lend you to wonder just a little bit, is this kid going to a situation where he might get an opportunity, whereas in Detroit, who's blocking him? Like we talk about that with baseball all the time. Well, you don't want to draft, you don't want to sign this guy because he might block your young players. Who cares? Let them figure it out when they're ready. Sign as many good players as you can. Lombardi, in fairness to the Red Wings, he was a 4th-round draft pick, I believe.
Yeah, he was. He was a 4th rounder.
So if he's a 4th-round pick and you're getting a 4th-round pick for him, is it really that big of a deal? Probably not. The thing that just bothers me, and I'm sure it bothers a lot of Red Wings fans, is that you've got guys who are producing at the minor leagues. You're talking about them on a regular basis. You've given indication you're fearful of letting them go as part of a trade package because you don't want them to come back and burn you. And now in this situation, who's one of the younger promising players, you're trading him for a 4th-round pick because he doesn't have any more options left.
I can tell you that 4th-round pick, whoever it is, isn't going to help him the next couple of years. That's for sure. And I'm not saying that Lombardi's like guaranteed to do that if he did come up, but I just would have liked to see it through. I think he's better than any 4th-round pick you're going to get right now, just from what I've seen.
At least immediately.
Yeah,
I don't disagree.
for sure.
I don't disagree with you at all. Turkey beats the Team USA 3-2 in the Gold Cup action, but they still advance to the field of 32. They're going to play Bosnia next. Andy will break that down on a separate podcast, I'm sure.
I'll have to do that for you, yeah, for sure.
Here's the Mitch Lineswell poll question. Which Detroit Lion defensive player is top 5 at his position? Jack Campbell, Aiden Hutchinson, Brian Branch, or none? Vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. We give you the results on Monday. Speaking of the Lions, you notice I didn't put Terrion Arnold in there. How bleak is it? So he's got 2 years and almost $5 million guaranteed remaining on his rookie deal. Okay. There's also the potential for a 5th-year option. Not going to happen. Anyway, any suspension stemming from this violation would void the guarantees. Will he be suspended? I mean, Rashee Rice wasn't. The NFL takes a look at these things on an individual basis. Now, I heard Mike Florio on Pro Football Talk yesterday, and he said Terrion Arnold allegedly called the Largo Police Department about what had happened. And then we're to believe that he masterminded this whole situation of let's go get him. What was the report, Andy? $100,000 in cash, $150,000 in jewelry.
Yep.
I guess my question, Andy, would be if I have an Airbnb and I rent that out to Andy and why am I leaving $100,000 there or $150,000 in jewelry? Or do I have the scenario mixed up?
Well, no, the one thing I would say is maybe he doesn't care because he makes enough money, but clearly he does care because he had to get back at him.
or was it they rented the Airbnb and people broke in and stole from them? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because that's the allegation is that either way, the allegation is that there's roughly $250,000 worth of paper and goods stolen. So with having all that left and having the suspension and the less guarantees, do you think he's a Lion this year?
It's hard to imagine it right now when you're seeing the stuff you're seeing yesterday. I mean, I don't know, man. A lot of things have happened in this league and players have somehow found their way back, but it just seems like with everything he's facing, it's hard to imagine that he gets out of this like completely all right. I don't know if he's guilty of any of it. You know what I mean?
Well, let's put it. Didn't we have Rashee Rice on camera beating up his girlfriend?
Yes.
Dragging his girlfriend down the hall of a hotel? Did we not have that? That was video evidence. That was as disturbing as it gets. And yet, because he can score a touchdown, people stood as one and gave each other high fives when he.
You're not wrong. That's literally what that's what I'm. I mean, we were talking about completely different stuff, the Sorsby stuff yesterday. It's like, people are all mad about the bets and everything else, and I get it because obviously that fixes games in a way and everything else. But it's like there are so many other things that are going on in this league, man, that people come back and play from that are probably worse than that if somebody gets help and takes care of that. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
well said.
Yeah.
Don't stop with the integrity of the game.
Right.
I want to throw up in my mouth every time I hear somebody associated with the National Football League and say, well, I wouldn't draft Brandon Sorsby because of the integrity of the game. Oh, Marshawn Lattimore, weapons charges. Jordan Addison, trespassing. Rasheed Walker, guns and weapons charges. James Pierce, Atlanta, aggravated battery, stalking, fleeing police. Marquise Bell, drug possession.
You're saying this stuff and it's hard to not just laugh.
Zachariah Branch, obstruction. Quintavious Hutchins, domestic assault and battery. Nolan Smith, let's drag race. Any Georgia player associated with it. Josh Jacobs, domestic abuse related offenses. Jonathan Cooper, assault, harassment, protection order violations. Alaric Jackson, felony domestic violence. And now Terrion Arnold, robbery and kidnapping charges. This is all this offseason. Just so you know.
That's nuts.
I'm not going back
That's nuts.
to the 1976 offseason. Okay.
I thought that was at least the last couple of years. I'm not going to
No.
lie when you were reading that.
This is all allegations. The 2026 offseason. I'll have these debates sometimes with friends. And at least you and I know what sports is. At least we have an idea of the hypocrisy that is associated with all of sports. I'm not just saying the National Football League. But when I hear somebody one time say, oh, I wouldn't want that guy because of this reason. And then I'll say, oh, but you're going to cheer for this guy? Do you know what he's done? Like, this is not necessarily allegations or something illegal, but I got in a debate with a good friend of mine one time. And he said, we were watching a game and there's a shot of Andy Reid. And he said, and this guy's a successful business guy. And he said, I'd never hire a guy like that to represent my organization, my company. And I said, why not? He said, well, look at him. Look at the way he presents himself. I said, oh, how about the fact that he's got 3 Super Bowls? And he's led, 5 teams to Super Bowls? Wouldn't that be beneficial for your company? I said, so in other words, you're trying to tell me you would not hire a guy like Bill Parcells either. Because Bill Parcells had a hard time pushing away from the kitchen table, right? You're trying to tell me that Rick Majerus in college would have never coached your basketball team. And Rick Majerus was a really good coach at Utah and other places. But you would hire a guy like John Calipari? You would hire a guy like Rick Pitino? You're basing it off appearance. It's strange to me. The National Football League, as much as everybody loves it and watches it, and I do, we're not going to stop watching it because we love the sport. It's embarrassing how these players have represented the league, their team, and of course their family name with these things. Whether the allegations are true or not, law enforcement officials found enough evidence to at least charge them with things. Prosecutors found enough evidence to charge them with things. We don't think Terrion Arnold did it because, as Sauce Gardner put it, I know what's in the heart of this guy. and you've got other players around the league, free six and stuff. Some of it's AI, so don't believe all of it. But others, try to protect him. Come on, man. I mean, I want you to put yourself in the other person's shoes. If the people who were kidnapped, tied up, had a gun pointed at them, they didn't do it, by the way. They were cleared. If those people were any part of your family, how would you feel? So the guy can play football. He's part of a football fraternity, and he doesn't play football very well, I might add. Not that should matter. You're going to support him no matter what. It's okay to let the air clear, just like it is for you and I as fans, to not crucify him yet. Because if he's absolved of any responsibility, if he's found not guilty, then he deserves to continue his way of living. But it's okay as an NFL player. You don't have to go on social media and support everybody just because they're buddies of yours if they've done something wrong. Goes back to a Seinfeld episode. If you killed somebody, would you tell them? Would you tell on them? If you knew about it, would you tell on your friend? It's a good Seinfeld episode. But all those allegations, all these alleged charges carry with them weight and embarrassment of the National Football League. And I don't think the National Football League should paint everybody with a broad brush. I do believe they should take it on a case-by-case basis. But stop with the, breast cancer awareness and all this other stuff where you try to care about women. We're going to have women referees. We're going to have women coaches. We're going to do everything we can to help promote women. And then you've got people doing these types of domestic abuse charges. And you're going to say, well, we want them to be part of our organization. Is that not the most hypocritical thing you've ever heard of? Where is the leadership? We talk about lack of leadership by the NCAA. Where's the leadership on the part of the National Football League when it comes to this stuff? And again, I'm not saying, okay, the allegations are there, automatically you're out. No, you have to make sure you go through the process. But holy crap, man. I just read you just a handful of issues that the National Football League is dealing with. Maybe this is why Roger Goodell feels like, you know what? I deserve all those millions of dollars that I get paid. Terry and Arnold's the latest one, but he sure isn't the only one. Mike Payton's going to join us a little bit later on, 8:35. When we come back, CBS Sports ranks how many Lions in their top 100 players? Think about it for a moment. Let us know here on X's and Bros, brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth.
Shop at Meijer with M-Perks and save up to $1 per gallon on your next tank of gas. For nearly every dollar you spend on groceries, household essentials, clothing, you'll earn M-Perks points. The more you shop, the more your points add up, and the more you save at the pump. At Meijer, we're working hard to help you get a good deal more by helping you save up to $1 per gallon on gas. Savings based on points earned. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons. See M-Perks.com.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marks. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marks, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
You know, we're fortunate here in Michigan. We have some of the greatest golf courses in the country. Tullymore and St. Ives is part of the reason we can brag the way we do about our golf. Once you visit Tullymore, you'll keep coming back. The view is breathtaking. The golf is fantastic. The accommodations are regal, and the people are special. It really does feel like a home away from home at Tullymore. Make your play and stay reservations today by going to tullymoregolf.com or by calling 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Farrah's Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
You have old retirement accounts still at former employers that could use some attention. You have accounts that the only time you hear from the advisor is when you call them. It might be time to take stock of your retirement and stop settling for less than you deserve. Having retirement accounts doesn't equal having a retirement plan. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Stop procrastinating and let's coordinate your retirement accounts and make sure you have a plan for success in retirement. At Mitch Lyons Wealth, we help people make sense of all the moving parts of retirement: taxes, income, risk, Social Security, healthcare, and legacy. It all works together, so let's make sure all parts of your plan are working together and not fighting themselves. Let's create a retirement of steel. Contact us today to schedule a brief chat to talk about your situation. If it makes sense, we can talk further. If you're good as is, we'll let you know that too. Go to MitchLyonsWealth.com or text PLAN to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. Investment advisory services are offered by MLW Advisory Services, a state registered investment advisor.
second hour of the program. Thanks for being with us here on X's and BrO's throughout the state of Michigan. You can text us, Sports Radio 21,000. You can join us in the chat on YouTube, on Facebook, and on X, or you can call us on the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. This hour of X's and BrO's, proudly brought to you by Meyer, I might add. We were talking just briefly about the Red Wings. They're under the cap right now. If you look at Puckpedia, the salary floor in the National Hockey League is 77 million. It's 76.9. I'm going to round up if you don't mind. $77 million. Detroit, Chicago, Philly, Anaheim, Pittsburgh, San Jose below it. The salary cap is 104 million. I don't know if that's going to change for this upcoming season. I expect it would. Nobody's at 104. The closest is Vegas, and then Florida, and then Edmonton, and then Dallas. And the reason I bring this up is because there were reports yesterday. I don't know if they're substantiated, though. It's a belief that Jason Robertson of the Dallas Stars, who is a restricted free agent, turned down $15 million a year to the Seattle Kraken. It's a lot of money. For a hockey player, it's a lot of money. Seattle is slightly over the floor. They're at 82 million. So they have room with which to work. So do the Red Wings. I don't know why you would turn that down unless you just didn't want to play in Seattle, number one. Or number two, if you had something you felt was better and it might be on the horizon. I don't know.
Maybe he thinks he can go another team. I've always heard of a lot of these players trying to get the money. Like sometimes the state tax comes into play. I don't know what it is in Seattle, so maybe he thinks he can go. I mean, it seems like everyone wants to go to Florida because theirs is the best for that.
Yeah, I can tell you this: it sure as hell is in Texas.
Yeah, right.
Seattle,
Exactly.
Washington.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear that a lot.
I don't really know what to make of it either because I've never dove into it a bunch, but I just hear it all the time.
I don't think it's I think that's a convenience. I'm not saying it's not a factor because I'm sure it's part of it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this is what these guys want to make money. You know what I mean?
But I think a lot of guys they don't want to play like Brady Tkachuk. I don't want to play in Canada. I think that's a bigger deal than no tax. The whole Canadian
for
dollar.
sure. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, right now it is for sure with the American-born players.
For sure. So I found that very, very interesting. But then as a friend said to me yesterday, well, maybe he's positioned to play in Detroit. Even though he played his, junior or, growing up, he played in Detroit. He played Little Caesars. My thought was, why? Why is Detroit a destination site for him? And this has nothing to do with weather. It has nothing to do with the crowd. Everybody feels in Detroit, everyone feels like this is a destination site. The Pistons can't be, the Tigers can't be, nor can the Lions, even though the Lions have proven that free agents are willing to come here. That it's only the Red Wings because it's an original six town. Do you think the original six mantra matters much to young players anymore?
I can't imagine it rings the same bell that it did, I don't know, even 10, 15 years ago. No.
Agreed. And here's the reason I bring this up. Because via the text, and you can text at Sports Radio 21,000. Shep, there's really nothing to say about Scott Harris anymore. Fourth year in, time to stop hearing about the organization was fixed to bottom. This is a great baseball town with an iconic brand. When does a brand stop being iconic? If you believe it is. I think the Old English D, I've said this ad nauseum. The Old English D is, I think it's the greatest sports uniform there is. The Tigers' home uniforms, unless they're wearing blue jerseys or orange jerseys, because got to sell them, right? I think it's the most iconic and best looking uniform in sports. And I think the Red Wings are right behind it. It's not because I'm a homer. It's not like the Yankees isn't cool or the Cardinals isn't cool or the Dodgers isn't cool. They're all cool. It's not like the Red Wings aren't joined by the Chicago Blackhawks. really cool. I like Winnipeg's. I like Winnipeg's uniforms a lot. I'm not saying that it isn't iconic, because it is. But does that matter to players? Honestly, how many people really care? Detroit's a 1901. Tigers have a 1901 society. Spoken in front of it many times. 1901. That's when they were formed. They're an original American League charter member. They have 4 World Series titles. The Yankees have 27. The Cardinals have 11. The Dodgers have 9. The Red Sox have 9. The Athletics have 9. Oh, Shep, those were a long time ago. You're talking about like iconic brands. What difference does it make? If we're going to talk about the Tigers being from 1901 as an original American League charter member, why can't I go to 1910 when the Athletics won their first World Championship? It was with Philadelphia, but it's the Athletics. They have 9. The Giants have 8. The Pirates have 5. If I said that to you, who's got more championships, the Tigers or the Pirates? What would you have said?
You
would have laughed in my face.
Yep.
Of course, the Tigers.
No, yeah.
Pirates won in 1909, 1925, 1960, 1971, and 1979. The Reds have 5. The Tigers have the same number as the Braves. The Tigers have 1 more than the White Sox. Is that iconic? I'm just asking the question. Don't shoot the messenger here. Because I've said it too, by the way. If I said to you, most wins, most career wins, well, sometimes that's misleading. Like the Tigers have the 10th most wins in Major League Baseball history. They have also, outside of Pittsburgh, I would say, and the Philadelphia Phillies. Those are the only teams who have played more games than Detroit but have fewer wins. The Tigers have the 10th most wins in baseball history. Cleveland has more wins than Detroit, believe it or not, and they've played fewer games. Red Sox have more wins than the Tigers, and they played fewer games. The Yankees have more wins, and they've played fewer games. I'm just asking if it's iconic. We think that. I think that. I've said that forever. I truly do. I'm not disagreeing with the texter. I think they're iconic. But if you're going to argue with me, and oftentimes I'm arguing myself, and I bring up those facts, how does that make you feel?
No, it's just
where does that leave you? Where does that leave you?
I mean, we're from here, right? So I mean, obviously it's a little different,
but
like
it shouldn't matter.
I understand. That's what I'm saying. So for what you're saying, I mean, when you bring up all those numbers and who's won what, because when you're talking about iconic, you got to go back that far. I mean, it's hard to argue somebody that would say that it isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to get so caught up in my own fandom of my own team where I lose sight of what is starting to be a fleeting moment here. It would be different if it was like, oh my God, their playoff winning percentage is unbelievable. But it's not. Their all-time playoff winning percentage ranks 15th. All time. They have a playoff winning percentage of a game under 500, 481. Slightly better than the Orioles. That shouldn't mean much because the Reds and A's have a worse one. But we're talking about how many playoff games all time? 27? Something like that, which can be a little misleading too. But 27, that's what it is. I don't like hearing these numbers. I don't like reading these numbers. I don't like even bringing up the possible argument. I just think we get caught up in our own favorite teams, and that is my favorite team, baseball-wise. But damn, we got to take a little bit sterner look like we would at somebody else if somebody else was bragging about their team and they had these numbers. We'll be back after this. We're brought to you by Meyer.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana. The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Showtime 8 p.m. See the Lumineers live with Josiah and the Bonnevilles, July 19th at Soaring Eagle Casino, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Huge here for the Carmody Brothers and all the Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Michigan. They have some huge deals happening every week. Buy one boneless wing, get one free every Thursday. They also have their bottomless appetizers. Groups can get bottomless apps starting at $9.99, and they also have the Pick Six meal for two. Get 2 entrees, 2 sides, and 2 drinks starting at $19.99. That's happening at all Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Michigan. Huge deals every week.
You know, we're fortunate here in Michigan. We have some of the greatest golf courses in the country. Tullymore and St. Ives is part of the reason we can brag the way we do about our golf. Once you visit Tullymore, you'll keep coming back. The view is breathtaking. The golf is fantastic. The accommodations are regal, and the people are special. It really does feel like a home away from home at Tullymore. Make your play and stay reservations today by going to tullymoregolf.com or by calling 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
I caught up in some Barry Sanders highlights in the break. I love it when people put that out every once in a while. It makes me feel good. Kids these days never truly understand just how great he was.
That's exactly my thing. If I had one guy I could go back and wish I could watch, it would be him. Like just from everything I hear, like my dad talks about it all the time. He's just the most fun guy you'll ever watch play a football game.
Yeah, he's right. He's 100% right. I mean, he'll take some negative plays, but he made more highlight runs and squeezing through spaces than anyone you've ever seen play the game. There's so many great running backs in the National Football League. I loved Walter Payton. I know he was a Chicago Bear, but I did love watching him play. I thought he was everything a running back was supposed to be. I thought Eric Dickerson was a phenomenal player. One of my favorite players was Earl Campbell and Chuck Foreman and the Minnesota Vikings. But Barry Sanders he did stuff that you've never seen before, where in a position that has just been filled with unbelievable players. I think it's really hard to name the top 10 running backs of all time. I really do. If you look at O.J. Simpson, watch O.J. Simpson play in Buffalo way back in the day. First 2,000-yard rusher. Unreal, right? Even more recently, guys like Marshall Faulk and Edgerrin James, really fun to watch. When I was a kid, Terry Metcalf was a dynamic player for the Cardinals. It's a lot of fun to watch. Anyway, sorry, I got caught up in that. Let me go to and by the way, I covered Barry Sanders for his entire career. It was awesome. Wasn't the greatest interview, but that's okay. Give me a text. Fire away.
Yeah, I got you. So on the topic we were just kind of talking about the Tigers, it says, in my opinion, the Tigers helped themselves in the 1980s with their dominance. They only won one World Series. The 839 wins in the decade helped their iconic brand. Without it, the conversation may be different.
Yeah, agreed with all that. Does that? Well, how does that matter though when we're talking about overall? Huh? What difference? What difference does one decade make? Like, if you look at the various players, first of all, the texter's 100% right. I'm just saying, if you look at the different players, did that really matter all that much? 1980, Tigers won 84 games. They finished 5th in the American League East. There were only 2 divisions back then per team. So they won 84 games. 1981, the Tigers finished 4th. They won 60 games. I think that was straight shortened. 1982, they finished 4th. They won 83 games. 1983, great year, finished 2nd to Baltimore. They won 92 games. And that's where it turned. Baltimore was outstanding that year. Think of back then. Detroit lost 3 games at the end of the year, but it shouldn't have really mattered. They had 92 wins. They were 6 games back of Baltimore. And if you talk to the great players from that team, Lance Parrish, Kirk Gibson, Jack Morris, Dan Petrie, those guys, Alan Trammell, they'll tell you that's the year that they really recognized they could do something here. Okay, 1984, of course, we're all well aware. Everybody brings up, the 35-5 start, as do I. 104 wins, by the way. By far and away, the most in baseball. Next closest was the Cubs at 96, and they lost in the NLCS to San Diego. But the Tigers won 104 games. I looked at it this way. First of all, they won 51 road games. They won their first 17 road games.
That's insane.
They started out of the gate, 35-5. They started out of the gate 17-0 on the road. So 83, 84, outstanding, right? 85, they won 84 games. They finished 15 games back of the Toronto Blue Jays. 1986, they finished with 87 wins. They were in 3rd place. 1987, they came from behind late in the season and won the division with 98 wins. Therein lies, I think, 83, 84, 87. Actually, in 1988, they were right there too. Unfortunately, I mean, they had to win like 3 in a row, 7 of their last 10. Yankees had to comply, and the Yankees did. Yankees lost 7 of 10, lost 3 straight, but Detroit finished a game back. So they were right there. To the texter's point, if back then Bowie Kuhn, the commissioner, had the vision that Major League Baseball's recent leadership has had, I don't agree with everything with Rob Manfred, but making games important down the stretch, more teams involved into your postseason tournament has helped Major League Baseball, among other things. If they had that vision, how many times would Detroit have been in the playoffs? They'd have been in 83, 84, probably 85, 87, obviously, 88. So I like where the texture's talking. I like what he's referring to. 89 was horrible. They finished last, 59. So it's really 3 years during that decade, maybe 4 if you want to count 1982. But overall, it's 3 years to help propel them. So it's a good point, and we appreciate the feedback for sure. Let me shift gears to some football. Mike Payton's going to join us A to Z Sports at 8:35. He's written some pretty interesting stuff. And that is, that the Lions might be even in better shape if they lose Terrion Arnold for the season, or overall, if we lose him to society, if we lose him to jail, prison time for, kidnapping and armed robbery. I don't think that's the case. You need bodies and talented bodies. He is not a number 1 corner, unfortunately. He hasn't been great. It doesn't mean he can't play. But Mike makes an intriguing argument on how this might benefit this team. Is it Rock Yassin? I don't know. Is it Keith Abney? I know that'll make some people's eyes roll. We don't know. But he brings up some interesting points that we're going to get to. CBS Sports yesterday produced their top 100 players going into the 2026 season. Who's number 1? Andy, who would you guess is number 1?
Well, are they doing the thing where they don't rank Patrick Mahomes again? Or
they are doing the thing where it doesn't matter by position, but Patrick Mahomes is in the conversation. I'm not going to tell you where he's ranked, but he's
okay.
Okay.
It's the number 1 overall player.
Number 1 overall player. I'll give you one hint.
Okay.
The top 2 players play for the same team.
That's weird.
One's on defense, one's on offense.
Oh, let's see. Just say they wouldn't give it to Stafford, would they?
They would. Stafford's number 2.
Okay. Number 1. I don't know why I'm blanking on this. I should remember.
Well, I said they're on the same team. One plays on defense, one plays on
offense.
I
know. I don't know why I'm blanking.
So it's
on
obviously the Rams.
Yeah.
Stafford's on offense. Who's the defense?
I know. I'm trying to think.
Miles Garrett.
Garrett. There we go. Yep. The defensive end they signed. That's all I can think of in my head.
Yeah. Sorry. So Miles Garrett, what's interesting is last year CBS had him at number 2, and they didn't even have Stafford ranked. So this is not necessarily a badge of honor. Here's what I want you to think about. How many Lions players do you think are on this?
I guess
top 100. I want you to think about it. We'll talk about it when we come back and get your thoughts. The other thing is, and the Terrion Arnold thing is kind of, it has a ripple effect, and it's coming down to Brad Holmes. And we'll explain why when we come back here on X's and Bros on a Friday morning, brought to you by Meijer.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marks. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marks, September 3rd, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Huge here for the incredible Crystal Mountain Resort in Thompsonville, Michigan. If you've never experienced the mountain, it's unbelievable. They offer up 36 holes of championship golf, Betsy Valley, Mountain Ridge, accommodations, a ton of choices. Go to crystalmountain.com, see everything for yourself. One of the top spas in America. They can handle businesses, small groups, big groups, your buddies, the ladies, and more. Book your getaway now at crystalmountain.com. That's crystalmountain.com.
Shop at Meyer with MPerks and save up to $1 per gallon on your next tank of gas. For nearly every dollar you spend on groceries, household essentials, clothing, you'll earn MPerks points. The more you shop, the more your points add up, and the more you save at the pump. At Meyer, we're working hard to help you get a good deal more by helping you save up to $1 per gallon on gas. Savings based on points earned. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons. See mperks.com for details.
You know, we're fortunate here in Michigan. We have some of the greatest golf courses in the country. Tullymore and St. Ives is part of the reason we can brag the way we do about our golf. Once you visit Tullymore, you'll keep coming back. The view is breathtaking. The golf is fantastic. The accommodations are regal, and the people are special. It really does feel like a home away from home at Tullymore. Make your play and stay reservations today by going to tullymoregolf.com or by calling 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
really cool social post by Isaiah Stewart's wife. I don't know if you saw that.
I haven't yet.
Nice,
no.
It's a really nice picture of her holding their son, and they're walking together. They look very happy. He's smiling. He is a good dude. You can tell.
Oh, yeah,
he puts
for
on
sure,
a different
man.
persona on the floor, but he is a good dude. But she wrote, Isaiah, I'm so proud of you. You came to Detroit, brought the heartbeat back to a dying brand. Found that interesting. You rebuilt the culture. You were the identity. Do you think he was the identity of the Pistons?
I think he was a part of it. He's not the only player, but I think kind of. I wouldn't say they're all that way. I think he brought a special part of the identity to it. I don't know.
Yeah,
He brought the toughness
question.
they needed.
Yeah, it's a good question. You're right. I think he's part of it. Absolutely, he's part of it. I mean, he gave them. If we thought this team was identified defensively, is that fair?
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%.
And that's
Yeah.
arguably their second best defensive player. Asar Thompson won, right? Then he is part of the identity.
Yeah, for sure. And he played good defense. And I do agree with what you said too. I mean, he was been there since they kind of came back from the ashes. That's for sure. So
yeah. I mean, I love the support that she gives, and I love that she makes us think a little bit with that. Very, very cool. All right. How many from CBS Sports top 100 NFL players, how many are Lions? This is a tough one for you because it's not like you're looking at the division. It's not like you're looking at the conference. You're looking at the entire National Football League, including draft class, and you're suggesting how many Lions who finished in last place in the division last year, did not make the playoffs, are top 100 players. So you've had some time to think about it.
do you want the names or do you just want the number?
I want both.
Okay, well, I'll say, I'm going to guess 7.
Okay. Give me the names.
Got Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, Jameson Williams. I think he's towards the back half probably. And I think Sam Laporta still made it.
Okay. All right. So you're close.
I'll go 8. Jack Campbell. Give me 8.
Okay.
I'll switch to 8. Jack
All
Campbell.
Right,
he's got to
so
be.
You got
there.
8. All right. Yeah. There are 6.
Wow.
According to Pete Prisco and CBS, Penei Sewell is the top Lion rated. Where do you think he ranks overall? Again, I said this was a tough assignment.
I would still say maybe he's 8th.
He's 6. That's
Okay.
a great guess. Great guess. So he's 6 right now, which to me, I think is. I think that's very complimentary.
Yeah, that's
We're talking about an offensive
that
tackle
feels high. Yeah, for sure.
being 6. Yeah, the only guys ahead of him are Myles Garrett, Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow. They put Penei Sewell ahead of Patrick Mahomes and Justin Jefferson and Puka Nacua and Lamar Jackson.
That's complimentary. And as an offensive, but I mean, his position, he deserves the respect, I guess, in a way too. So
That's a hell of a compliment. Who do you think is next? I told you there are 6. You said there were 8. You have to eliminate 2. Who are the 2?
Amon-Ra St. No, Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm gonna go Jahmyr Gibbs next. He's got to be here.
You would eliminate Sam Laporta. Didn't play last year.
Yeah, no, Sam Laporta would be out for me, and then probably Jack Campbell would be the other one. I think that would be out.
It's Jameson Williams.
Okay,
Jack Campbell's the best at his position.
Yeah.
So, Penei Sewell at 6. Who's next? You said Jahmyr Gibbs?
I'll go Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay. It's Aiden Hutchinson.
Okay.
Hutchinson is 14. Defensive end-wise, behind Myles Garrett, behind Micah Parsons. Basically have him as the 3rd-rated defensive end. The reason I say this is because it goes back to our Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question. Which of these players are top 5 at their position? I didn't put Penei Sewell in there because Penei Sewell everybody knows he's the best tackle in football, or at least he's top 5 for sure. And in this little exercise, according to CBS, not that it's the Bible, but CBS Sports says he is the best offensive lineman in football. We did have Aiden Hutchinson in there Based on these rankings, Hutchinson would be top 5 in defensive end, wouldn't he?
For sure. Yeah, he's right there.
Okay. Who's next? So Hutchinson's at 14, Sewell's at 6. Who's next? And where do you rank him?
I'm still going to go Gibbs.
You are right. It's Jahmyr Gibbs.
I'll go 18th, 19th.
You're pretty damn close. You're good at these games. He's 21.
Okay.
Not in age, but he's ranked 21. The only running backs ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs, I don't know if you're going to believe this or not, but Bijan Robinson at 17.
That's fair.
Agreed. Christian McCaffrey at 19.
I mean, McCaffrey is, I could see it. I could definitely still see it. So that's fair to me.
I have no problem with it.
Yeah, he's been asked so much on that team, especially last year, to what he had to carry with the workload. So, yeah, I get it.
So Gibbs a year ago was 32 on this same list. This year he's 21. Hutchinson a year ago was 15. He's 14 this year. Penei Sewell a year ago was 21. He's all the way up to 6, which I found really interesting, considering even Sewell said he didn't have as good a year as he thought he should have and or as he's had in the past. And yet he moves up. All right, so you've got Sewell at 6. You've got Hutch at 14. Jahmyr Gibbs at 21. Who's next?
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Correct.
Got to be.
Where is he?
34th.
Little lofty. He's at 46. Okay, so that's the one where you were furthest off so far. Amon-Ra St. Brown, which I think it's a little low, who was 58 a year ago, is at 46 this year. My issue isn't necessarily 46 overall, although I think he should be ranked higher. It's sort of who he's behind. I don't know anything about Chris Lindstrom. I'm sorry. He's a guard for the Atlanta Falcons. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is better at his position than Chris Lindstrom is at his. I think he's better at his position than Aaron Brewer is at his. But I digress. What about the wide receivers who are ahead of him?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. So,
yeah. So there are layers to this, right? So the wide receivers ahead of Amon-Ra St. Brown are Jackson Smith and Jigba at 13.
I get it.
And Puka Nacua at 9.
Also fair.
Justin Jefferson at 8.
Yep.
And Jamar Chase at 4.
Yeah, I mean, he's still number 5 then, technically, in receivers, and that makes sense. So
exactly. Okay, so 6 with Sewell, 14 with Hutchinson, 21 with Gibbs, 46 with Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have 2 more Lions in CBS Sports' top 100 players. Who's next?
Said 2 more?
2 more.
I took out Sam Laporta. It's got Jack Campbell.
It's Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, okay.
Jared Goff is at 57. All right?
Okay.
And Jared Goff at 57 was 77 the years before last year. All right? Who's ahead of him at his position? Sometimes that's more intriguing than anything else. We know it's Matt Stafford at 2. We know it's Josh Allen at 3. Joe Burrow at 5. Patrick Mahomes at 7. There's 4 already. Lamar Jackson at 10. There's 5. How many other quarterbacks are ahead besides and I think most people would agree with that, right? You don't think Jared Goff's
he's not better than those
5, do
nope.
you?
Nope.
I mean, if you're having arguments with your buddies, are they really trying to make a case?
I mean, you're going to have a hard time arguing that.
2-time MVP? Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a little different, Andy, if he had won a championship and you
yeah,
could say,
sure.
well, he's better than. This is where the controversy comes in. Dak Prescott is ahead of him at 43. So some people are going to take issue with that.
Yeah, I mean, you could debate that one. There's no question about that.
You can debate it.
I'm not taking anything away from Dak either because I think he's a good quarterback too. But
understood. Here's the one that you have to debate. So there's 6 ahead of him. There's one more ahead of him. 7 quarterbacks ranked by CBS Sports Top 100. 7 quarterbacks ahead of Jared Goff. The 7th is Jordan Love. And he's at 51.
No, I don't agree with that, but
I don't either.
I don't even think
that's an absolute farce.
Statistically, if you like, wherever you want to break it down and not, call me a homer, like that, it doesn't make any sense with Jordan Love. I don't understand the constant praise that he gets. I
don't either.
Do not understand it.
People, national writers, people absolutely love him. By the way, the next quarterback would be Drake May and then Justin Herbert. Okay.
Those guys would have a beef to be better than Jordan Love, in my opinion, too. So,
Drake May can make the case.
No doubt, he made a Super Bowl.
Yeah. What has Jordan Love done? He beat the crap out of the Cowboys in Dallas a few years ago in the playoffs. Anyway,
he had a big lead against the Bears this year. Didn't last.
Great point. Last one. Jack Campbell. These are the top 100 players in the National Football League. The Lions have 6 of them. Jack Campbell, where do you think he ranks?
I'm going to go.
Jared Goff is 57.
I'm going to go 78.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good guess. He's at 86. Okay. Now, here's what you have to take into account. Last year, Jack Campbell was not rated. So he debuts, if you will, at 86. He's an all-pro. Forget the Pro Bowl. Nobody cares. It's about all pros. Okay. If you're in the Pro Bowl years ago,
Pro Bowl is,
it's a big deal.
It's not the thing now.
It was a big deal when Barry Sanders made the Pro Bowl.
Sure.
Now, winning a tug of war contest doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Okay?
Winning one of the side games.
Yeah. Who gives a rat's ass? I don't care if a guy's a Pro Bowl or not. A lot of guys don't want to go, and you're not showcasing your football skills in the Pro Bowl anyway. I'm looking at all pro. Jack Campbell's an all pro. He's at 86. Just ahead of him is Zach Bond. Also ahead of him, Byron Young, linebacker, at 82. All right. Count the number of linebackers here without getting too hyperbolic, without saying, my guy, and getting all pissy. I'm just asking you the names. Jared Verse. Now, they got him as a linebacker, which I find interesting. Right? But either way,
that's questionable.
That's questionable, right? I look at him as more of a defensive end.
Exactly.
That's what they promoted him as when they traded for Myles Garrett.
That's all you heard. Yeah, that's why I'm saying that. I can't believe he's a linebacker on that list.
Nick Bonito, really good player. Brian Burns, really good player. Right? I mean, if you're behind some of those guys, actually all those guys, I'm not saying that he should be behind them. I'm saying those guys are uber talented players. That's 5 linebackers ahead of Jack Campbell so far. Now, some, like we've already discussed, in fact, a couple of them, I would say, are not linebackers. So you could make the argument that Jack Campbell is the 3rd best linebacker of the guys we've mentioned so far. Is that fair? I think so.
I think so too.
Okay. I think the creme de la creme of all linebackers is, we haven't mentioned yet, and it's Fred Warner. Fred Warner's at 60.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're Jack Campbell and you're playing behind those 6 names, and 2 of them we would call defensive ends, that tells you something. It's interesting that we came up with this poll question, and you know this because I had this down yesterday. If it weren't for the other news in the sports news, I would have had this as yesterday's poll question. That CBS comes out with these rankings, and they coincide with the Mitch Lanswell poll question, because you saw my rundown from yesterday, and I had this in there.
Yeah,
and I had it for Friday. I originally had it for yesterday, but because of the Isaiah Stewart trade, we wanted to use that. But here's what we had. We have which defensive player is top 5 at his position: Jack Campbell, Aiden Hutchinson, or Brian Branch. Based on what Pete Prisco and CBS sports writers have put together in the top 100 players, Campbell is a top 5 player. if you take out the 2 defensive ends.
And
that's all right.
Amon-Ra St. Brown has an argument.
Well,
too.
I said just defensive players.
Oh, defensive players.
Right. So Jack Campbell is top 5. Aiden Hutchinson's definitely top 5. Brian Branch, I put in there. He's not healthy, so, people probably wouldn't put him in there. Brian Branch, when healthy,
he's got to be in the conversation.
He's got to be in the conversation.
Is Terrion Arnold in the conversation or no?
Terrion Arnold just missed it.
just missed the cut. All right, sounds good.
Yeah. If he could be top 100 most wanted.
Yeah.
That could be something. We are going to talk with Mike Payton from A to Z Sports about this, about the Arnold allegations, that maybe the news isn't quite so bleak. Where do the Lions turn now? That's a big question. Do they have to go out and do something? Should they go try and kick the tires on Adoree Jackson? Should they make a phone call to Tre'Davious White or Rasul Douglas? Are any of those guys possible fits in Detroit? Could they come in and do something and compete? I would remind everybody this. During OTAs, when asked about Terrion Arnold, what did Dan Campbell say? He said he's got to earn his start. Now, you would hope that's the case for every single player on this roster. You've got to earn a roster spot. You've got to earn your start. You and I both know we can name 4 of the offensive linemen.
Yeah.
We can name the quarterback. We can name the running back. We can name the wide receivers. We can name the tight end. We can name at least 1 linebacker. We can name 4 defensive linemen. Even though you'll wink, wink say, Jack Campbell has to earn it. Jack Campbell's your defensive captain. He's got the green dot, and he's one of the best players at his position.
It's the treat every player the same kind of mantra, when you're in camp. You got to say that to the media, because if you don't, then, the answer is not looking good at that. Oh, he's already got his spot, so why would he even have to show up here today? You know what I mean? Like, that's not what you're going to say. So
Dan Campbell's having a conference meeting. He's got Drew Petzing and Mike Kafka and Calvin Shepard and all his coaches in there. And he's saying, all right, so the linebacker jobs are up for grabs, right? And Calvin Shepard takes his glasses off, lets his dreads out, and goes, hell no. My man Jack is right there. You might be up for grabs with Jimmy Rolder, but not for Jack Campbell. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, there are certain guys we know. There's no way Hank Fraley's going, I think Penny Sewell's going to have to compete for the left tackle job. Please. It's not like they'd signed Cade Mays and said, now go earn it. It's pretty obvious.
It's funny to think about it because it makes us laugh. If they said that in a room, they'd probably laugh too. I mean, realistically.
Absolutely they would. It is an area, though, that is a little touchy for Brad Holmes. This is a tough thing for him to live down. The Arnold news is immediately linked to Holmes and the problems that he's recently had. We'll get to that when we come back as we begin hour number 3 of X's and Bros on a Friday morning, brought to you by Meijer.
Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, 2 world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Hey, West Michigan, Mitch Lyons here. You've heard about our support of Tiger legend Kirk Gibson's fight against Parkinson's disease. Now we have a local opportunity to support West Michigan families affected by Parkinson's too. The first annual Drive Out Parkinson's golf event presented by the Grady's Parkinson's Promise will be held Monday, June 29th at Watermark Country Club. And while the golf is at full capacity, you still have a chance to help support the cause. Mitch Lyons Wealth is the title sponsor, and we'd love to have others join us. If your business would like to support and be represented at the outing, or if you would like to contribute personally, it's easy to do by joining our team today. Just go to birdease.com, that's BIRDEASE.com/Drive-Out Parkinson's to sign up for sponsorship packages or donate today. X's and Bros and the Huge Show will both do their shows live from the course, and Shep and Huge are playing in the event. Join us in supporting this great cause. A portion of the proceeds will go to Gibby Center, and the rest will support local families. Go to birdease.com/Drive-Out Parkinson's or contact me at MitchLyonsWealth.com for more info.
Shop at Meyer with MPerks and save up to $1 per gallon on your next tank of gas. For nearly every dollar you spend on groceries, household essentials, clothing, you'll earn MPerks points. The more you shop, the more your points add up, and the more you save at the pump. At Meyer, we're working hard to help you get a good deal more by helping you save up to $1 per gallon on gas. Savings based on points earned. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons. See mperks.com for details.
Huge here for my good friend Josh Garvey and the team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan, one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms. Their worldwide headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. And Josh and his team connect with all the sports fans and businesses across Michigan. They bring you John Beeline on the Huge Show. They bring you Lomas Brown during the Lion season. They are a top shelf team when it comes to growth and understanding what their clients need. And mix in when we do the Beat Huge contests or the NCAA March Madness brackets. Thank you, Josh Garvey, for what you do for the Huge Show and the Michigan Sports Network. Simple and easy. Just find Dorn Mayhew on all the social networks or just Google Dorn Mayhew and find out how they can help your business. And again, a special thanks to Josh Garvey and the Dorn Mayhew team in West Michigan.
Third hour of the program here on X's and BrO's on a Friday morning. We're brought to you this hour on a Ferris Coffee Friday by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. I'm Matt Shepard, Andy McDonald alongside. Astros edged the Tigers 2-1. The story of the night really was Tatsu Yaimai. He was the starting pitcher for Houston. He lasted 6 innings, allowed just 2 hits, struck out 10. Houston got a solo homer from Bubba Trammell and a sac fly from Isaac Paredes to hand Troy Melton the loss, even though Melton has been outstanding. He has been. He's been I've said this since, I don't know, late last year. He could be a top-end rotation guy. He continues to show it. Dylan Dingler, the man, solo homer in the 9th. With 1 away, hits a solo bomb, his 19th of the season. Problem is, Detroit's 13 games under 500. Game 2 of the series against Houston is tonight. It's a 4-game set. All right. Terrion Arnold will make his first court appearance on Monday morning. Prosecutors are going to argue that they should keep him behind bars without bond until trial, and that's been the case. So 9:30 a.m., I think. Pistons bring on Roddy White for the Summer League. NHL draft is tonight. The Red Wings have 7 picks overall. Their first pick is in round 2. They have traded Amadeus Lombardi to New Jersey for a 4th-round pick. Turkey beats Team USA 3-2, but Team USA has advanced to the field of 32, and they are going to play Bosnia. So we'll see how Andy feels about that in our, I don't know if it's today's edition, but soon it will be an edition of the Daily Wager. Here's the Mitch Lanswell poll question. Which Detroit Lion defensive player is top 5 at his position? Jack Campbell, Aiden Hutchinson, Brian Branch, or none? I would argue this. 2 years ago, you would have said Brian Branch.
For sure. Yep.
Right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
No question about it. Quick correction. You keep saying Roddy White. It's Roddy Gale.
I did say Roddy White. You're right. Thank you. It's Roddy Gale. Yeah, my bad.
Just so people know.
Roddy White was a pretty good wide receiver.
Yes, I was thinking of it too. I do that all the time. So
yeah. So thank you for fixing that for me. That would make for an interesting situation.
Roddy White would be a pretty crazy signing for the Pistons.
Yeah, that and Roddy Gale's an interesting situation because he
started
at Ohio State and then went to Michigan. So thanks for the correction there. Yes, the Mike Payton from A to Z Sports is going to join us at 8:35. I want to talk where the lines go from here with Terrion Arnold. He wrote a couple of really good pieces overnight that I would encourage you to read about. All right. The issue people are having now with the Terrion Arnold situation is the draft. The Terrion Arnold draft of a few years ago. First round, Terrion Arnold. Right now, behind bars. Second round, Enos Rakestraw. An absolute, I hate putting it this way, he's a nothing burger right now. Am I wrong? Are you counting on Enos Rakestraw? If you are,
I'm not.
You are foolish.
You can't. I mean, the injuries have just been too. I mean, he hasn't played.
He's a second-round pick in 2024, and he's played 8 games.
You can't put your stock in that. I mean, you should have learned that with Davenport over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, Davenport had a proven track record.
Yeah, he was good.
I had no problem with them signing Marcus Davenport. I had a problem with them signing him again.
I just had a problem with them relying on him to be the other guy because he hasn't played. That's been the
correct.
That's the
but
problem.
I'm saying the first time you signed him, you didn't have a problem.
No,
with
sure.
It.
I mean, yeah, they didn't overpay or anything like that.
I liken it. This is before your time. I liken it to Scott Mitchell. Scott Mitchell, when the Lions signed him as a free agent from Miami, I got it. They didn't have any quarterbacks. They had bad luck on quarterbacks. They needed a quarterback. He showed flashes in Miami. You brought him in. Bringing him in or re-upping him was a mistake. It's the same thing with Matt Millen. You wanted to do something different in your front office? Fine. Go get a guy who's won Super Bowls with different organizations. Okay? Raiders, Redskins, 49ers. Guy's been around football a long time, talked to a lot of coaches, talked to a lot of players, is the second best analyst in the National Football League behind John Madden, ready to make the move. You wanted to take the chance. You wanted to roll the dice. Why not? Other franchises have done it since. John Lynch is in charge in San Francisco. It seems to have worked out for him so far. It wasn't a huge stretch. I understood that. The problem I had was when he showed you how bad he was, you did it again. That's stupid. All right? Thinking things are going to change. Saying Enos Rakestraw, he's got to step up. Another one of my favorite hated sayings. He's got to step up. Enos Rakestraw has got to be, this is his opportunity. He's got to be on a mission. Look at all his film from Missouri. Do you give a crap about his film from Missouri right now? Honestly.
I don't.
Why would you even go with there? You care about what he's done at the National Football League level. He's not facing guys who are done with their football careers. He's facing the best of the best. I don't care what wide receiver he's facing when he plays Miami of Florida. 8 games, he has been a massive disappointment. Would you call him a bust? Maybe not yet because of the injuries. But after this year, absolutely. Giovanni Manu came in the 4th round. How good has he been? Do you trust him? We can talk about how good Brad Holmes' drafting is on a number of different years, and he deserves credit for it. Giovanni Manu last year started 1 game, and he's played 4 games. That's not a good track record. Sione Vaki, the 4th round pick, the second of 2 4th-round picks, 132 overall, drafted as a safety. All right? Because that Sione Vaki, that was his, I was going to say, that was his position. He was drafted at. Spencer Torkel was drafted as a 3rd baseman. He was a first baseman. Everybody knew that. Sione Vaki was also a running back. So I guess I saw him more as a running back. But here's the beauty of what he's done. Even though he's never started a game, he's been a decent special teams player. He hasn't rushed very much. He's only rushed 7 times with a football. But he has been a valuable player on special teams. What do you expect out of your 4th round? It's the first thing you have to ask yourself. Mekhi Wingo, he was a 6th-round pick. Christian Mahogany, also a 6th-round pick. By far and away, Brad Holmes' worst draft class. No doubt about it.
I mean, you can't even argue that. It is the worst one.
It's unarguable if there's such a word. Are you going to define him by that? If you won't let me define him based on his great draft class, I'm not going to let you define him based on his worst draft class. And Mekhi Wingo has been injured constantly, only played 2 games a year ago, 11 the season before. So a 6th-round pick, not playing, whatever. And then, of course, Christian Mahogany, everyone thinks he's going to battle for that left guard spot. Perhaps he will. I don't know, man. To me, it's a little worrisome. There is no question it's their worst draft class. I'm not judging. Like I heard somebody yesterday say his last 2 draft classes, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, hold on a second. You're going to already, you're trying to tell me after 1 year, you're going to draft or you're going to decide on 1 draft class after 1 season? That's a problem. And if you are going to use it, would you say Tyleik Williams, who started, at least he was a starter. That's what you expect out of a 1st-round pick. I expected more than he got, but Tate Ratledge, starter. Isaac Tesla, good player. Dan Jackson was hurt. Dominic Leavitt out. Ahmad Hassanin injured. Miles Frazier injured. Your top 3 picks last year were contributors. You expect bigger things from them this year, but they were contributors. I am not judging last year's draft class. That's a tough one. 2024, go right ahead. It's awful. As good as 2023 was, 2024 was equally bad. Mike Payton joins us bottom of the hour. We're brought to you this hour by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
In the den. with Dan Dickerson.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. And it's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, your getaway reimagined.
The Tigers have hit the midway point of the 2026 season, so we've talked a lot about the hole they've dug for themselves. Let's try to figure out what it will take to actually reach the postseason. 6 teams make the playoffs. Right now, there are only 5 teams in the American League with a winning record. It might only take 82 or 83 wins to snag that last playoff spot, which means the Tigers would have to have a big second half. Let's call it a 49-32 finish. Is that possible? Sure, this group has done it before. For me, it's all about not how many games the Tigers are behind on any given day. It's their relationship to the 500 mark. Get to within a couple of games of the 500 mark by the end of July, and you vastly increase the chances of keeping Skubal at the trade deadline. And keeping Skubal is really the only way you can have a big finish. But it all has to come together now. There is literally no room for error.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marx. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marx, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
We're on a Ferris Coffee Friday, brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. There is a report that the Blues had offered Dallas multiple first-round picks for Jason Robertson. The deal fell apart. Robertson didn't want to go to St. Louis. So there's two reports now where he has not wanted to go to two specific organizations. Seattle, that reportedly offered him $15 million a year, which to me I think is absolutely crazy. No way should he be making $15 million a year. And now St. Louis. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the weekend and talk more about it next week. It's about time for, on Fridays at 8:18, we always do the Friday six-pack. Before we do that, let's get to the final results of the poll question and the daily wager. The poll question brought to you by our friend Mitch Lyons, Mitch Lyons Wealth. Call him today, 866-85-STEEL. Sign up for his free newsletter. Go to his website, MitchLyonsWealth.com. You can call and speak with pros at his wonderful place to see if a Roth conversion makes sense for you. Get their Roth blueprint offered today. What were the final results of yesterday's poll question on whether or not you like 3 second-rounders for Isaiah Stewart?
There's 57% yes and 43% no, which is somewhat surprising to me.
A little surprising.
Yeah, that's not the result or the answers I was getting from people. But
how about the daily wager brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort and their sportsbook Ascend?
Oh, again, this is just crazy. So we're 2-2 this week. We need a win today to break the even mark because last night, even though Turkey scored 3 goals after the stat I told you about, they had 62 shots and no goals, which is a record. They only had 9 shots last night. So they did not get to 14, which I definitely would have thought of with that many goals. We're going to go to baseball tonight. I'm going to go right with the Tigers and Houston. I'm going to go Isaac Perez to get a hit because they're giving me that for almost even. For the 3 games against the Tigers, earlier this year, he at least had a hit in all those games. It feels like even though he only had a sack fly last night, it feels like his name is always somehow making some kind of box score against the Tigers. And he was on a 9-game hit streak before last night. So I'll take him to get back to getting a hit tonight.
Yeah, the former Tiger, it seems like that, doesn't it?
Yep.
One of those guys who seems to come back, haunt his team a little bit. Hitting 245, as you mentioned, the sacrifice fly did drive in what turned out to be the game-winning run for Houston. All right, that's the Daily Wager brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Time now for the Friday morning six-pack.
Woo! Justin and Nick beer.
We're ready for it. That's for sure.
Can't wait for that tonight. Absolutely. By the way, we have some Jalen Duren news too that we should.
Okay.
Sam Amick, New York Times, says that Duren plans to explore sign and trade scenarios after contract negotiations have stalled with the Pistons. There is, in his words, a large enough gap in value from Duren's camp in Detroit where he feels it's best to now play elsewhere. Well, that's going to make some people pretty happy in Pistons land. Puts them in a tough spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I doubt they would have traded Isaiah Stewart had they known this was going to be the case. Now, sign and trade is a lot different. You could sign him, trade him, and get, Jaylen Brown back or whomever. I would feel uncomfortable with Paul Reed as my starting center. I like him coming off the bench, but I'd feel a little concerned about that. So how much is too much? It's a great question. I wouldn't pay Jalen Duren $40 million. No way.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, you got to be fiscally responsible. Before you make that decision, though, you better understand there are guys, there aren't a lot of guys out there who can do what you need a center to do. What are you going to do about losing an all-star center? And don't give me Paul Reed 35 minutes a night. So it's something we're going to have to monitor throughout the weekend for sure. All right, let's do the six-pack. Go ahead.
All right, first question for you. Jalen Duren trying to get his way in there. Would you rather spend so obviously these are 2 of the hotter places in our country. Mm-hmm. Would you rather spend, and I had this debate last night with some of the people I was with, would you rather spend July in Phoenix or Orlando? Because you got Phoenix where it's like super dry heat, but it's like 115 degrees. You got Orlando in Florida where it's like 86, but everybody complains about the humidity. If you had to pick one or the other, where would you rather?
I've never understood the dry heat thing.
Same.
It's heat is heat. Okay. I would rather spend it in Phoenix.
Okay. For sure.
Okay.
And is there a reason for that?
Everybody's got a pool there. So I my guess is, and I think there's going to be probably less people. I think Phoenix is a cooler city than Orlando.
Okay.
I'm not a Disney guy, but yeah, for me, it'd be Phoenix.
All right. For sure. Okay. Sorry. We gotta get our things there. That's for sure.
I was worried about
you. If you had to drink, I know you're a beer drinker. If you had to drink a seltzer, what brand would it be? If you had to pick one, have you ever had one? Has anybody ever made you try one that you liked? Or
what's the one my kids drink sometimes?
Like White Claw, High Noon,
High Noon.
Those
High Noon.
Okay,
that's what it is. Black Cherry High Noon.
I like those. Those are good.
I've had a couple of them. Not my first choice, but yeah, High Noon would be the one.
Okay. All right, so we're going on to the third question here. I thought this was a fun one. If you were a NASCAR driver, what would your hood sponsor be?
Oh man, that's a really good one. Well, it'd probably be a beer, right? Would it be Garage Beer? Would it be Founders? Would it be Labatt Blue Light? It would be a beer. That would be outstanding. And as soon as after I got past the checkered flag and won, I would hop out and somebody would hand me a beer, and I wouldn't just spray it all over the crew. I would start to drink it. It would definitely be a beer.
That'd be money, man. Well,
yeah.
I guess
maybe the American flag, but you can't make money on that one.
That's fair.
Right? Okay.
All right. The fourth question here. Obviously, it's kind of funny. You said this, so I'm going to guess you don't care, but I said Disneyland or Disney World if you had to pick one.
Do not care.
And so you're just not. Are you not a fan of?
Prefer to. I've been to in Orlando with the kids twice. It's an absolute zoo, and just brings me no enjoyment whatsoever.
I get it for sure. I liked amusement parks when I was younger, but I feel like it's harder to. I don't know. I couldn't get into that kind of stuff.
Would you call that an amusement park?
I mean, not really.
I see Cedar Point is an amusement park.
That's much.
There's not an ounce of me that wants to return to any of those.
Totally get
not
it.
An ounce.
Hey, well, let's move on then. Getting towards the end here. My sister's getting married this weekend. So
happy day.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be an emotional one for me, that's for sure. And Brent, if you're out there listening right now, I'm excited to spend the morning golfing with you that day instead of getting married like the girls have to do. So
don't get in any accidents on the golf course. Don't be hitting into him or anything like that.
Oh gosh,
that might put it in danger. Otherwise, you're out of the will.
Yes, I can't imagine. But I said, what's one thing you remember from your wedding day? If there's like one thing you take away from it.
Well, my wife wasn't feeling well. We played euchre in the church before, and my buddies all had different flasks of different kinds of schnapps. So one had peach, one had apple, one had cinnamon. Yeah. And then at the reception, we had a table of my good friends, table of my wife's good friends, the video camera going everywhere. My buddies go, all I know is we're out drinking that table. End of the night, the bartenders told my father-in-law, God rest his soul, we have never sold this much alcohol at any event we've ever had.
I love that. That's the one memory, huh?
Well, there's a few in there.
Yeah, right? For sure. Well, maybe you can't remember any of it, I guess, if that was the case. But yeah,
one of my groomsmen, one of my best friends, forgot my mother-in-law's name. I mean, that wasn't great.
Yes,
because he had a few. There are a number of stories from my wedding, from people giving my brother-in-law, who was at the time 14, alcohol when they shouldn't have, and him getting sick, to others having a little more flirtatious leeway than others, from our two wedding parties. Not the greatest look sometimes with other significant others there, if you get my drift. Anyway, go ahead. Last one.
Yep, bottles are going everywhere at this point. The last question I got for you, I feel like you have an opinion on one of these two, maybe, but Chicago beef or Philly cheesesteak? If you had to pick one. If you've had, I don't know if you've had both.
Well, I've had them both. I love the Philly cheesesteak. I don't like the cheese on it. I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like the original, the creamy
I gotcha.
fake cheese.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
All right.
Give me a Tubby sub instead. So I'll probably go with the Chicago beef.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. When we come back, Mike Payton, A to Z Sports joins us. Stay with us.
Farrah's Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, two world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana. The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Showtime 8 p.m. See the Lumineers live with Josiah and the Bonnevilles, July 19th at Soaring Eagle Casino, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com. Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
I like articles that make me think. It helps me with knowledge, of course. It helps me with debates. And Mike Payton provides a lot of that on A to Z Sports. He wrote a number of them overnight. It seems like he's never away from his computer. And he joins us here on X's and Bros. We appreciate it, Mike. Good to talk to you again. Some interesting things I think that you brought up. Let's first address the Terrion Arnold situation. Unfortunately, this is dominating the conversation, and it has to dominate your part of your work as well. What is the most disappointing part about his whole scenario, besides the obvious, in your mind?
Well, I mean, it's just that I've been covering Terrion for a couple of years, and I always go back to the combine when he got up on the podium and he just wowed everybody. And I mean, I've never seen every sports writer, every beat writer just so compelled and just so captivated by a player before. He just seemed like such a good kid, and everything that that we've known about him, it points to that idea. He's just a good kid, and he's now allegedly made a very big mistake, and it's sad, and you hope for the best for him, and yeah, I mean, it's such an unfortunate situation.
It's an offseason in the NFL that they'd probably like to forget, whether it be Marshawn Lattimore or Jordan Addison or Rasheed Walker or James Pierce or Marquise Bell or Zachariah Branch or Quintavious Hutchins and Nolan Smith and Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Cooper, Atlantic Jackson, and now Terrion Arnold. What the hell's going on in the National Football League? This is just one off season, and you got all these guys charged with things, alleged charges, breaking the law in various ways.
Yeah, it's again, it's unfortunate that these kids are given an opportunity and to live their dreams, and you would think that most people would do anything they could to not throw those opportunities away, and for some people, it's they just can't, and I don't, it's sad. It really is sad.
Yeah, and I don't even look at them as kids. They're not kids anymore. They know the difference between one or the other, and the NFL's got to do something about it. I don't know what that is, so it's easy for me to say because I'm not in that type of decision-making position in the National Football League. So Terrion Arnold, what is the recourse for the Detroit Lions right now? Can you explain in layman's terms where we're at, where it goes from here, and what are the scenarios the Lions face?
Yeah. So at this point, it's about as bad as it can get, or at least it appears to be. He's being held without bond. He's got a pretrial hearing on Monday. He's going to trial. It's happening. So that right away kind of tells you there's a pretty good chance he's not playing in 2026. Just right off the bat, that's just probably not happening. These things usually take time. There's going to be several different court dates. It's not like he's going to trial next week. It's going to get pushed behind. And even if the trial gets set after the season, he still can get put on the exempt list by the league, or the team could suspend him, or the NFL could suspend him. It's just, if you're thinking there's a chance he's going to play this year, it's probably slim to none. So that's number one up front. Number two is, if the Lions were to go ahead and cut him, it's not like they're saving a whole lot of money because he has a fully guaranteed first-round contract. So, the Lions are kind of in a position where, they're a little bit screwed, but it's not like he's making a ton of money. So it's not going to be a devastating cap hit or anything like that that's going to destroy their ability to sign anybody or anything like that. But they might be a little bit suited to just wait a little bit before they just decide to make a decision.
Mike Payton, A to Z Sports, joining us here on X's and Bros. He was a busy man yesterday. Posted a story at 1:46, posted another at 11:39, and another one at 12:37. And all of them make you think, including this one that I think really caught my eye. The best trade target to address cornerback need for Terrion Arnold's situation is in Denver. For those who don't always read thoroughly your stuff, unlike yours truly, because I do every day, what are you referring to there? And why is it a good scenario in your mind that the Lions could actually go and get a guy who might fit their scheme and Dan Campbell's mindset?
Yeah, I think Riley Moss is a really good fit for the Lions for multiple reasons. One of them being that he's really good against the run, which the Lions, if you look at some of the free agents, most of the free agents they signed this year and how they went about the draft, they want to stop the run before they do anything else. Pass rush is great and getting interceptions is awesome, but they want to stop the run, make teams one-dimensional, and that's how they want to win. So Riley Moss is very good at that, and is also, decent at stopping the pass as well. He's a good player, and Denver is in a situation where they are going to have a very expensive defense, and they just made Pat Surtain the highest-paid cornerback in the league, and they drafted Jahdae Barron last year in the first round. They've got to pay Jaquan McMillan soon as well, so they have Riley Moss, who is a starter there, just kind of in this situation. They could pay him or they could save some money. And there's been a lot of thought going around that they may look to trade him either, now or at the trade deadline, just before his contract comes up, which is going to be at the end of this season. So I think the Lions would be in a really good spot here if they could go ahead and offer something like a third-round pick to Denver. They could get a starting caliber cornerback right off the bat, and I think that's probably the best way they could go. It's difficult because you're giving up a third-round pick, but you're getting a really good player in exchange.
And you're right that they also have Chris Abrams-Drain. So they're deep and they're set in the secondary, your words in your article, and Moss is in the final year of his contract. What else you write on A to Z Sports, which I think is interesting, is that they may find their secondary in better shape even without Terrion Arnold. Is that you looking at the glass half full, or do you really believe that they've got the depth that they need to overcome a loss like this?
Well, I think depth-wise they're pretty good. I do think they need to get somebody. Like, they absolutely do it. And I noted that in the story. If you're going in with just Rock Ya-Sin as your starter and you're hoping for Ennis Rakestraw to be good off the bench and finally be healthy and everything, and I don't think that's a good enough strategy. I think you've got to find somebody, whether it be Riley Moss, as I mentioned before, or some of the guys in free agency like Rasul Douglas. I think would be a terrific signing for them. You got to find somebody, but I don't think that losing Terrion Arnold is the death knell that it really appears to be, because as I mentioned in the story, this is a guy who's graded out in like 52 and this year, or 2025, 50 is rookie year. Like, it's not like Terrion's been a lockdown corner. I like to think that he was going to eventually develop into a good cornerback, but he hasn't. And it's, they're not losing a huge chunk of their defense at this point. And this is a guy that was fighting for his job this summer. So, I think there may be a little bit of revisionist history going on with how good this player is or was. And, it would be nice if they had him, but I think they're going to be in a good spot if they don't. I think theirs is a deep secondary and a lot deeper than people think.
Depth is one thing, Mike. Quality is another. Is it depth because they've got bodies, or is it depth because they've got really good players to compete for those minutes?
Yeah, I think they've got really good players who could, especially at safety. Like I said, I still think they need somebody else at corner. They need at least one more guy at corner. But I think it's in terms of the entire secondary, I think it's more than depth. I think they've got some really good players, especially at safety. Like I feel more comfortable with the Lions safety position than I do with probably any other position on the defense. So I definitely think they got it there. But again, they could use some more help at corner, but I don't think they need to go out and break the bank to get that.
You had mentioned they go out and get a player, and you mentioned in another one of your articles, I think at 11:19 that you wrote it last night, 4 specific names. You already mentioned Rasul Douglas. Who are the other 3 for listeners out there, and what's the likelihood that they could possibly get one of these guys on the dotted line?
Yeah, there's Tre'Davious White, who is used to be with the Bills, Pro Bowler, kind of an older player as well. There's Fitu Melifonwu, who you guys all know who that is. He was with the Lions before, has played safety, but also has played some cornerback. There was Rasul Douglas, and then I am blanking on that 4th player, if I'm being honest, Matt. There's been so much going on since all broke, but
yeah, that's okay. Adoree Jackson is the other one.
Adoree Jackson, thank you. Adoree's spent a lot of years with the Giants, was with the Eagles last year, and started a good amount of their season. Ideally, if you're going to get any of these guys, it's Douglas, and I keep bringing up his name because I think he is, he's somebody who played really well last year for the Miami Dolphins, graded out at like 72.7, just a good solid player. I think Jackson is also good, good veteran, but I'm not sure, where he or White are at this point in their careers. I think they might just be a little bit long in the tooth. Melifonwu was interesting to me because he already knows the system. He's been here before. I think he's a decent option.
Do you think Terrion Arnold has played his last snap in the National Football League player?
Obviously, with saying you're innocent until proven guilty,
sure.
It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good right now. I would say that I think there's a really good chance that he may be done. I'm not expecting him to ever be back for the Detroit Lions at this point. But
okay,
things happen.
Yeah, that's glaring. We've seen some players, not all of them, because so much of the stuff can be AI, and who knows what to believe a lot of times on social media. But we do know, like Sauce Gardner has written, at least penned something in support of Terrion Arnold. I get supporting a brother in your fraternity in the National Football League. But it's another thing to just blindly go out and say, this guy's okay. I know him. He's better than this. Terrion Arnold from your interactions with him. How surprising is this to you? Knowing that you saw him at the draft and knowing that you've gotten to know him over the last couple of years, when you see the allegations that are associated with him, and look, they're damning. Doesn't mean that he's guilty, but there's a lot of really bad evidence against him, according to authorities. How surprised are you?
Incredibly surprised. Incredibly surprised. And granted, I don't know him personally. I know him as a football player, and but this, I'm not saying he didn't do it, but I am saying when you see it, you're like, wow, that doesn't make sense. Because that's not the guy that I've been around. Because there's nothing about that makes it seem like he would ever do something like that. But people make mistakes in their life, and it sucks. And I hope that he didn't do it. If I'm speaking honestly, I hope that this is, and not just from a football standpoint, just from I think I've been around him. I think he's a good kid, but good kids can make mistakes too. But I really hope that he didn't. I hope that this isn't something that tears his life apart.
I'm with you. I never want a young 20-year-old to spend, as much time as he may face, but there are degrees of mistakes. You and I have made mistakes too. We're not perfect by any stretch. This is more than just a mistake. And I believe in second chances, but boy, this is scary stuff. And my concern is that you're going to have people pointing the finger at him to try and get a lesser sentence, and it could be even worse. So you've got this Lions situation, and I think what's happening right now, and you know this as well as anybody, the association that Brad Holmes is failing because of what would have been the lone bright spot from the 2024 draft. because Rakestraw has been a mess, and the rest is pretty obvious. Unless you want to hang your hat on Christian Mahogany, that might be pretty tough. Do you think Brad Holmes is on the clock for fans? Not from ownership, but from fans. I don't think he should be yet, but do you think from fans' standpoint, because of this latest problem, that he is?
I think, a lot of fans are going to jump to conclusions. It's not like Brad Holmes knew in 2024 that this would happen. You go in, you do your due diligence, and you go in and you pick the players you feel are the best for your team, and they either work out or they don't. And that's why the NFL draft is such a crapshoot. But that draft 2024, it wasn't good. It just wasn't good. There's no way to get around it. I think he's had very good drafts otherwise. And I think it's fair to focus on the success a little bit more than it is the failure in this situation. But yeah, I don't think that he should be on the clock or his seat should be hot because of this. I think he's demonstrated that he's very good at his job in other years for sure.
Mike, it's been a long 48 hours or so for you. We appreciate the time very much. Keep up the great work. Really enjoyed the articles and some of the names that are associated. It's easy to say go out there and get somebody, but at least in your articles, you go out there and tell us this is who you can look for and who might be a good fit, and we appreciate it. So thanks for everything. Have a great weekend, man.
Absolutely, Matt. Thanks for the kind words, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. That's Mike Payton from A to Z Sports. Really good stuff. Strongly advise you to follow him on Twitter or subscribe because he's got stuff that'll make you think. Really important to do that in today's world, especially with this situation. I think it's really hard for people not to come to conclusions.
Yeah, I mean, it's all you see everywhere is just people, making judgments immediately, especially in the world we live in now with, social media the way it is. So.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to.
You got to let it play out. Fair. Day, but
I wouldn't want that for somebody to assume and make a decision on me. Okay?
Exactly.
Especially if I'm claiming innocence. I do worry, though, Andy, that let's say best case scenario, he is cleared of the charges. It's these types of allegations and being in the wrong place at the wrong time, unfairly so, but could be wrong place, wrong time, that haunt you and deplete your value.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
play with your mind.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Because you know what he's going to get if they go to Philadelphia.
Right.
You know what's going to happen if he goes to New York. I'm talking about as a player now.
Yeah, no matter what. I mean, it's going to be something that's hard to get over, and it's really going to test him as a person, not just a player, when he has to go into these kind of arenas and deal with that.
Exactly. Well, good stuff. So we appreciate Mike Payton. We appreciate your opportunity to join us here on a Friday morning, a Ferris Coffee Friday here on X's and Bros, brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. The huge show later on today from 3 until 7. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you Monday from Watermark Country Club in Grand Rapids. We'll talk with Mitch Lyons and a lot of people there for the Paul Grady golf outing. It's a special one for a great cause. We'll join you then, 6 o'clock here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, West Michigan, Mitch Lyons here. You've heard about our support of Tiger legend Kirk Gibson's fight against Parkinson's disease. Now we have a local